Hello and welcome to another video review. This time we're doing one I got at Christmas in the Flying Tigers sale. For anybody who don't know, Flying Tigers is one of the UK's major sort of diecast aircraft distributors based at Sywell Airfield in Northants. And this is the rather gorgeous US Navy F6F Hellcat in the Blue Angel scheme, representing the No.2 aircraft in the US Navy in 1946. The code is HA1120. Let's get in and have a look. Here she is out of the box. So standard Hobbymaster style, the up undercarriage actually comes bagged, as does the down undercarriage. So there's the tail wheel cover in there, undercarriage cover, and two little bits which I have no idea what on earth they're for. So answers on a postcard, please, if anybody knows what those two random bits in that bag are for. Also, the aircraft comes with a standard closed canopy. Your up and down, your down undercarriage, which is in a separate bag, which I've opened, and also to the right of the picture here is the open canopy, which is a lovely little feature which I love. So what I'll do, I'll set up the aircraft and display it in both forms so you can have a look. But what's really good with Hobbymaster is that they provide a spare aerial as well. So if you do damage or lose an aerial, that you have a spare within the pack. So aircraft looks really, really nice. Let's get it set up on its stand and we'll have a look at it. So here she is out of the box. I'll put it in undercarriage down configuration and with the cockpit closed in this instance until we move it to its wheels, purely because I don't want to open the other box. I believe, looking at this now, that those two bits there may well be the covers for the holes for the stand, but I'm not quite sure how to work them out yet. Like I said, if anybody knows, then please let me know. So the stand, there's two little holes on it which allow the aircraft to sit in it nice and snug, which does pose a problem because you've got to fill those holes, of course, but it does make it much more robust if you're displaying it. In terms of the overall finish, this is one of two types that was released. So this one is No.2, but there is an aircraft which is undecaled, which comes with a decal set of 1 to 6. That was on sale in the Flying Tigers sort of New Year sale as well, but it was another 10 quid, so it makes no difference to me. For anybody who has seen a Hellcat up close, we were very lucky in this country to have one at the Fighter Collection at Duxford for a number of years. It's a real chunky piece of kit, and the Hobbymaster Hellcat does a great rendition. I'm not an owner of a 132 one, but if there was one on sale which was at a decent price, I'd love to have that in the collection because it's a glorious piece of diecast. This, of course, is in the famed Blue Angels scheme. So if you do have Phantoms or Hornets or Bearcats, as SkyMax has done, it would be a great accompaniment to that. For anybody who does like Blue Angel schemes, the Flying Bulls in Austria, or the Red Bull team, or whatever you want to call them, have just acquired a Bearcat, which will be visiting the UK this summer at both Duxford and, of course, my mate Jim's old Walden, the hallowed turf down there at the Festival of Flight, which will be one hell of a show. I don't believe it's landing. I think it's staying at Duxford and flying in for the show. But a great bit of kit. This cost me all of $29.99. I'm not too sure if it's gone up in price yet, but I know it was in the New Year sale from Richard at Flying Tigers, and of course he does shift worldwide as well if you are interested in it. So for those who don't know, the Hobbymaster Hellcat started its journey as a Corgi aircraft. So we were just having this discussion today that Corgi launched what they call Predators range many, many years ago, which is sort of between the Warbirds range, for anybody who can remember them, which were a wheels up version, and the main sort of AA range at the time. And it was a joint venture between Corgi and a relatively new player in the market in Hobbymaster. And they launched Dauntless, an Avenger, a Hellcat, a Stuka with cannon, so like the Rudel Stuka, a Starfighter, and I believe it was a MiG-21. I think they were the 6 in the series. I might be wrong. And released, I think they released 3 groups of aircraft or 3 series within that. So Corgi no longer, unfortunately, own this mould. It then passed over to Hobbymaster, who have done a whole host of different schemes of Hellcats and done a really, really good job of it, in all fairness. until that moment, I believe Dragon Wings were the only Hellcat manufacturer, or what they call decent manufacturer. I mean, Oxford make them, XL Tire make them as well, um, but they don't make them as good as this. A brilliant, brilliant mould of a quite fascinating aircraft. Obviously, this one wasn't a combat aircraft. This was an air show performer, but still a really, really chunky bit of kit. Let's get her down on her wheels and put the open canopy in. So here she is down on her wheels. Apologies if the canopy doesn't quite look this on. I've managed to damage my finger over the weekend and cause all sorts of chaos to it. Thankfully, it's bandaged up. You don't have to see what the grimness underneath. But it's really, really solid on its wheels. So there's a number of aircraft out there. The Dragon ones in particular, literally if you breathe on them, they fall over. This is absolutely solid on its undercar. As you can see, I can move it around quite comfortably. Obviously, one of the slight issues is it doesn't have rolling wheels, but you know what? It's not a massive issue. It does come with a pilot as well, which is nice for those who do want it in flight mode, because an aircraft in flight mode without a pilot does look strange. But it's a great bit of kit. As you can see with the canopy, it doesn't quite sit flush on it, but that's fine. It's something a bit different if you want it in like a sort of airfield mode with a backdrop like I have. I think it looks really effective like that. Not all the aircraft in our collections obviously come with open canopies, but it does add something a little bit different to it. But really, really pleased with this. This is an aircraft I want to come out. It was released by Hobbymaster sometime in 2025. Never got around to it, and they'll see it in the sale for practically half price. I mean, it'd be a fool not to pull the trigger on this. Really, really cool. Will go lovely with my Skymax pair of Bearcats, and of course my F18 and F4 Phantoms. So I've got a couple of different Phantoms in the Blue Angel scheme as well, so it'll make a nice little display shelf for those who collect display teams as well. Thanks for tuning in. Keep an eye on the page, obviously, for any more live videos that we plan to do over the coming weeks. And we are in discussions with Corgi around the Q&A. Watch this space. Nothing confirmed as yet, but hopefully we can get some questions in for Michael and potentially David if he joins as well. Catch you then. Cheers, bye.